it's a big show.
Welcome to the Fade Route
It's a big bad show tonight.
with DNZ.
Yeah, it's a big show.
Here are your hosts,
Cracking up, telling them lies.
DNZ.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Fade Route with D and Z. I am D, and we got a great show for you tonight. A few rookie quarterbacks get their first wins as starters. We discuss if Herbert has eclipsed Mahomes, and we preview the NL wildcard round. But we begin today's show with the $300 million man, Garrett Cole. 2 innings in a non-bullpen game where the Yankees lose. Is this what the Yankees thought they were getting? Now and forever, a Yankee? What's up, Z? How's it going?
What's going on, brother? You could not have gotten a worse return on your investment if you're the New York Yankees than last night. The only possible thing that would be worse is if he didn't make it out of the first inning, but 2 innings pitched, giving up bombs to Xander Bogaerts and Kyle Schwarber. Did not look comfortable the entire time. For those of us that are familiar with his oeuvre, it looked like peak Yankee Roger Clemens, where he just could not stay out of his own way. Coupled with the fact that that lineup that Aaron Boone had put together was brutal. From 6 through 9 in that order, you're looking at Gardner, Urshela, Higashioka. Just not great at all. Yeah, exactly. It's just what else can you say? There are a lot of major changes to be had. Ultimately, it's going to fall on Garrett Cole because it was the most spectacular of the failures. You look at Giancarlo Stanton, he's hitting bombs all over the field, but, singles to right, to singles to left, I should say, off the monster. I was out with my girl yesterday. We were at the Rambling House. A little plug for you and that first inning, Stanton hits that bomb. Everybody's up, yeah, this is awesome! And then it hits off the wall. It hits right off the monster, and that air just came right out of the building. And even before Cole threw a pitch, defeat was in the air.
I mean, there's a bunch of things to touch on here, right? I mean, first of all, it's an odd lineup. I mean, his 4 through 9 hitters were 1 for 17 going into the last 3 innings. You have Rizzo, Judge, Stanton, Gallo, Torres. I mean, what are you, playing MLB The Show? There's no JD Martinez on the white. He didn't play yesterday. So you were already in position where, okay, on paper, we should win this game. The Red Sox weren't even supposed to be there. I mean, and you could tell, and Buster Olney kind of reported this morning that you could tell in the first inning, Garrett Cole didn't have it. He's like, he had been to enough playoff games where you see Pedro Martinez, you see Eddie Pennant, you see Roger Clemens, you see Kurt Schilling, and you're like, oh man, they're on tonight. They're going 6, 7. They're not going to be stopped. And Eovaldi wasn't throwing anything special. He's pounding fastballs in there, which is why Stanton uncorked pretty much 3 home runs. I mean, he was batting. I think he's batting 400 in Fenway Park this year. Some absurd number like that. It's just like, what were you thinking? Like, this was not the game to say, hey, let's try something new tonight. We're going to shake things up.
You mean like David Garcia and then following up with J-Happ?
Yeah. Yeah, You remember that? Yeah, like what were you
for the fans of the show? That's a callback. That is a major callback.
So I mean, there's a couple of things that I was thinking is just like, in the past, right? If let's say El Duque was on the mound or Roger Clemens was on the mound, older Roger Clemens, younger Roger Clemens, and they didn't have it early, they'd figure it out. You figure out how to get people out. It's like, okay, I'm spraying my fastball everywhere. I'm gonna breaking ball them to death, or I'm gonna throw my changeup. I'm gonna hit my spots. This guy, Garrett Cole, has one game plan, and if he can't do it his way, it seems like it goes awry. I mean, I don't think Yankee fans are going to forget this or let him live this down. This is one of those. I mean, I think I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the Yankees have lost the last 3 playoff games to the Red Sox, or have been eliminated the last 3 times they played the Red Sox in the playoffs, and that's just unacceptable for a Yankee fan. That's and a lot of people are trying to get on Phil Nevin for sending Aaron Judge on the ball off the wall. It's like, guys, hold up, stop a minute, because number one, Phil Nevin's been aggressive all year. The Yankees led the league or are tied in the league for 22 people thrown at home plate. Okay, so stop that nonsense. Next thing was, it's like, okay, yeah, Joey Gallo's up next, and God knows what's gonna happen after that. So yeah, I'm sending Aaron Judge. It's gonna take a perfect relay to get him out. Kike Hernandez is the center fielder. Xander Bogaerts is. I'm gonna throw it. I'm gonna go. And you know what? We have enough talent on this team to get back in the game, even if this doesn't work out. So I'm with Phil Nevin on his call. Be aggressive. You're playing on the road. You're a better team. I'm with him on that one.
All of the controversy regarding the Aaron Judge send was because it was Aaron Judge, because he's slow. Let's be real here. Like, it's aggressive play. Nevin is aggressive, like you said. It's a perfect storm for a second guess. It definitely is a perfect storm for a second guess. But that is not the only play that dictated the game. So I get that is the most high profile of the performances after Garrett Cole shit the bed, but it's going to fall squarely. It's going to fall squarely on Mr. Cole, because this is what they brought him in for. He was supposed to be that guy. When you pay $300 and some $1 million, perfect example. The Yankees didn't to this contract, but Giancarlo Stanton's getting paid a boatload of money. He showed up tonight. He came to play. And kudos to Giancarlo Stanton. He showed up and he exorcised some demons.
Not only that, but look, I mean, Garrett Cole's first home run, the first home run he gave up was to Xander Bogaerts, who hadn't had an extra base hit in his last 11 games, was batting 167 or 168 in his last 10 games. Yeah. And you throw him a hunky changeup like right over the middle of the plate. He laced it. His eyes lit up.
That's the
50
problem.
50 pitches, 2 innings. Come on, dude.
Meatballs. He was throwing.
You got to figure it out.
That's the problem. He couldn't find it, and body language wise, the eyes, you knew something was off, and a lot of the times it's very reminiscent of Mike Messina. Mike Messina deviate from his game plan as well, and he kind of took on that persona of if it's not just right, or even like Steven Strasburg, like if it's not just right, that delicate hothouse flower, it's going to be a long night. And it was a long night in Boston for the Yankees.
And now Boston moves on to face the Rays. I'm not sure anyone in the American League can really compete with the Rays right now. But, you know, this leaves the door open. I mean, Boston could catch fire. They could beat the Rays. White Sox are hurt. Astros are not the same team they were a few years ago. I mean, anything can happen here, right? Anything can happen in the American League.
No, absolutely. The other thing that Alex Cora did that Aaron Boone could not do is that he saved his best pitcher. Right? Cole was the only choice, and we went over this. Let's give some credit to Nathan Eovaldi. He stepped up big time, you know? That way he said, Skip, you can keep on. I got this. And he delivered the goods. So
but if you're the Yankees, that's the guy you wanted to face. You didn't want to face Chris Sale.
No, you didn't want to face Chris Sale.
You want to face a fastball throwing Eovaldi. He didn't throw anything crazy last night. He just hit all his spots. And that's why Stanton was teeing off. Because like, yo, you can throw me fastballs, I'm going to bomb you all day long. That's why Rizzo took him deep. He wasn't wowing anybody. You know what he is, and he knows what he is, and he's like, all right, I'm just gonna go out there and do it. Like, but he was hitting his spots where Garrett Cole was spraying it. The other thing I want to say is
he was aggressive in the strike zone.
Yeah, and how about Aaron Judge really being the Yankee leader? You know, I didn't realize how much he was loved by the fans and teammates. They're going to need to re-sign him, and they're going to have to give him the captaincy when they do. You know, the Yankees got a lot of decisions to make this offseason. They got to figure out what they're going to do with Gary Sanchez. They got to figure out, are we going to keep Anthony Rizzo at first base? Gleyber Torres has got to play second. That means we got to go get a shortstop. I like the kid Velasquez from Mars Park, but he can't really stay there. Urshela, he's going to have to stay, so I don't know about that. Unless they have a universal DH, Stanton's not going anywhere. And I don't know if you really want to send Stanton anywhere, right? I mean, he proved this year that, listen, if you don't play me every day, I can last the whole season. And you know what? In the postseason in October, I'm built for this. I come to play. The Aaron Hicks situation is awful. Brett Gardner, after the game, thinking he's coming back. Are you high? Like, you barely belong in this league.
But you know what? But here's the thing. The presence of Aaron Hicks gives Brett Gardner job security. Because you're not going to play Aaron Judge 162 in center field. You can get by with Aaron Judge for like 30 games.
Yeah.
Not 162.
And then Joey Gallo's got to stay. So, I mean, whatever. It's a shit show. But, you know, we move on to the National League Series. Dodgers versus St. Louis. Scherzer touched up already, surprisingly, but he's still dealing. Wainwright versus Scherzer. You know, who you got tonight? Who you got in the wild card round?
This is a fantastic game for a multitude of reasons. You have the all-star at every position, Dodgers. They're throwing Max Scherzer out there, and you know it's going to be like the big glossy acquisition. Like basically, it's going to be what Cole should have been. And for the Cardinals, at this point in his career, Adam Wainwright is no longer the superstar. Adam Wainwright is kind of the journeyman, veteran presence that's there to guide the ship, to kind of be the rudder. But this is going to be a fantastic game tonight. It's already 1-0 St. Louis. You can't help but feel like that little bit of momentum is going to be on St. Louis's side, but it's hard logically to think that the embarrassment of riches the Dodgers have won't win out in the end. It's very difficult to see, especially coming off of last night's game where we were going back and forth, right? What did I say? Like, I said the Yankees are going to win, even though Cole was going to have a
13-11, I think.
I called 13-11. I was way off. But
score.
I'm looking, well, you know, I was expecting Cole to be done a little bit deeper into the game, but giving up 5 runs. I was off by a little bit. But compared to the Dodgers, they have the pedigree that the Yankees do not have right now, and you expect them to win out in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they were pitching anyone other than Scherzer tonight, I would probably take the Cardinals. But the fact that they're putting Scherzer out there, to me, he's my Cy Young Award winner. I think the Dodgers will take it. However, I don't think the Dodgers are going to be able to beat the Giants in the next round. No Muncy, no Kershaw. Bellinger is just awful. And the Giants have been crushing people all year long. So I don't have the Dodgers getting much further, even if they win tonight. And then when it comes to the other side, the Brewers will battle the Braves. I think the Braves can get by everyone but the Dodgers. So I think it'll be a good series with the Brewers, but I expect the Braves to move on without Soroka, Acuna. I just, and it's not because I'm a Braves fan. I just think they can beat them. They can beat the Brewers.
That's true. You've been, I've been more bullish on the Braves than you've been this year. So that's surprising. As the Met fan, the Met fan was more bullish on the Braves. But get in. All you need to do is get in and get hot. That's all that needs to happen.
Get hot.
That's all you got to do. And any one of these teams. Would it surprise me if they were in the World Series? Not at all. Especially with the Cardinals. The addition of Arenado, this is exactly what they brought him in for. To get to this moment. As far as the Brewers go, they have impressed this year. Woodruff, Burns, Hader, Peralta. They've got some arms. Didn't think much of them at the beginning of the year, but they've definitely outkicked their coverage in that regard. Could they ride those arms to the World Series? Possibly. Could, anything is possible. This feels very wide open, especially now that with the rise of the Giants from out of nowhere. I remember I picked them third place. So this was supposed to be San Diego. And it makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder how far the Giants can go and how good Gabe Kapler can manage in the playoffs. And we're going to see what he can do. But I definitely think that all these series are going long. They're not. I don't see any sweeps at all. These are all competitive on both sides of the bracket. Very competitive.
Yeah, it'll be a good playoff series. I'm sure Major League Baseball just does not want the Brewers and the Rays to meet in the World Series. But
the Willie Adames series, you don't think they want to see that? You don't think Rob Manfred wants that?
No, I don't think Rob Man. I think it's keeping him up late.
Your favorite podcast has its own merch line now. Go to teespring.com, type The Fade Store into the search bar, and have access to our sweatshirts, t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, tank tops, and much more on the way. That's teespring.com. Type in The Fade Store at the search bar and show your boys some love. Rep the Fade Route brand only at the Fade Store, only on teespring.com.
But another competitive game that happened over the weekend, it was Brady's return home, his homecoming. The Patriots barely edged. The Patriots lost to the Buccaneers and Tom Brady. And after the game, Belichick and Brady talked for 20 minutes, where Belichick walked himself over to the Tampa Bay locker room. He arranged a meeting with Brady where they spoke for 20 minutes. What did you think of the game? What do you think Belichick and Brady shared post-game?
Well, overall, I thought is exactly. It felt like every New England Patriots game, but on both sides. So Matthew Judon was all over the field, making great defensive plays, and Mac Jones more than held his own against Tom Brady. But if you look at the numbers, Mac Jones actually threw for more yards, had more touchdowns, threw for more picks, but you could argue that he did outplay Tom Brady statistically. but in typical vintage New England Patriot fashion, it came down to field goal at the end of the game. And in the rain. Exactly. But in this case, the worm turned and the kick missed, unfortunately. But that's the game that you were hoping for when you circled the game on the schedule. As far as what they were talking about, I can't help but think that these two guys are savvy enough that they were playing this up. Like the hatchet has long since been buried, and they get that this is, just a little bit of media hype. You're just going to throw a little bit more, just going to put a little more eyeballs, a little more juice on this thing. And it wouldn't surprise me if they just sat back and, cracked open an avocado tequila and started laughing for 20 minutes straight about how they duped everybody into thinking that they actually hate each other.
Yeah, I don't think they really hate. I don't think anybody
There's
really hate each other. But
no.
As far as
way
the game is
overblown,
concerned,
way overblown.
I thought the game was good. I mean, we talked, and I really thought that it was gonna be a blowout. I don't know if weather or emotions played into it at all, but it was a close and compelling game the whole way through. I think the conversation after the game probably started off talking about family and his and Tom adapting to Tampa, and then I think they discussed camp, and then I think they discussed the new offense and the defense, and I think Brady was honest with Bill with what he saw in his guys. I don't think Bill said anything like he missed Brady or that he apologized for everything or anything like that. I do think they discussed the game plan. They're football guys, they're X's and O's guys. I think they talked about Mac Jones, and I thought Mac Jones played really well. He put his team in position to win. AB and Evans came to play and played well, and I think the Pats have been finding out every week that they got the right guy at quarterback and that they can compete. I mean, he's just going to keep getting better. He managed the game very well. He was very Brady-esque, Brady 2.0, or Brady from 2002 to 2003. But I think they're in a good position.
They absolutely are, compared to some of the other rookie quarterbacks we've seen out there, and what we saw last year from Cam Newton, compared to what we're seeing from Mac Jones now. Light years. There's a light years worth of difference, and this is the reason why we both thought that this was a huge get by the Patriots and a huge mistake that the other teams made letting Mac Jones get that far to them. He's an apt pupil, and you put him with a mastermind like Josh McDaniels, and you're setting up the next dynasty of the Patriots from here on in. So it's one of those things that I'm sure that Brady definitely felt some resentment. There's no doubt in my mind. You're going to tell me that, they've been trying to replace him for years, just like everybody else in the New England machine. It's that kind of system where no one is bigger than the team. And at some point,
he's just in a better situation. That's why I don't really think he really cares about it. It's like, whatever. Like, I'm throwing to, 4 stud receivers, and I got my favorite tight end, and Cameron Brate's really well, too. Like, I don't care. Like, I really believe that he's not of the mindset of where he's upset or he's disgruntled or anything like that.
No, he's results-oriented, but also your job is to sell tickets. Right? Your job is to sell this stuff, to juice the rivalry. Otherwise, you're not going to tune in, right? So, is there an element of that to this? I firmly believe that there is, because that little extra bit of juice is going to get those casuals to watch. And then maybe, just maybe, they may have something going. But as far as what went on after the game, just kudos and on to Cincinnati. You know how Bill Belichick is at the end of the day. It's just like it wouldn't surprise me if they've broken down film together, like you said.
Are you in need of air care, maintenance, or service? I have the company for you. Air Care Technicians. They service the Westchester and Northern Bronx area and can help you with all your heating and cooling, maintenance, and service needs. Just give them a call at 914-315-1547. Again, that's 914-315-1547. Or shoot them an email at aircaretechnicians@gmail.com. These guys are the real deal as they are veteran-owned, licensed, and insured. Make sure to tell them that D&Z sent you. In the rest of the league, we had rookie quarterbacks picking up their first wins as starters. Fields and Wilson. The Bears won their game. The New York Jets surprisingly beat the Tennessee Titans. Oh my God. Is this more to come, or is this the small peak before the valley of the rest of the season for these two guys?
Now, to be fair to the Titans, they were down their top two receivers. So let's be real about that. But I think that going over the schedules and based on what I saw, you got a few wins coming the way of the New York Jets. That defense plays, and if Zach Wilson can play as well as he did, and just not do too much, not do too little, just stay in your lane. If he can do that, I'm looking at that schedule moving forward. They could potentially pull off 5 or 6 more wins, possibly. Just on the strength of that defense. Just on the strength of the defense. As far as New England goes, Mac Jones, you're looking at, as far as that goes, that's going to be, the schedule's going to be some hard sledding, but they could possibly pull off like 2 or 3 more, 3 or 4 more wins. It's going to, they're going to be competitive. So they're not like the drizzling shits of the division. Jacksonville, now you're starting to get into some tough sledding. And we're going to talk more about Jacksonville later on, but I'm not here to heap mounds of crap on top of Jacksonville, but it does not look good. It definitely does not look good. And that leaves us lastly with the new QB1 in Chicago with Mr. Fields. He's got some tough sledding. Like, I'm looking at these, to me, I see 2 sure things on that schedule. The rest, competitive, either competitive losses, competitive wins, or outright blowouts and stinkers.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought the Bears were going to lose to the Lions this weekend. I thought Matt Nagy was going to get fired. But I found out that Matt Nagy turned over play calling duties to Bill Lazor. So the Bears won because Matt Nagy fired himself again. So kudos to him for that. Then he talks. Then at the end of the game, during the press conference, he takes all the credit for the win. Like, dude, this guy is such a clown. I actually think the Bears showed over the weekend that they could win despite him. In spite of him, they win games. The Jets beat a bad Titans team. They also have a chance to beat a bad Falcons team in London this weekend because they're returning that European series for God knows what reason.
We're really sending the best and the brightest, man. You got this weekend, you're looking at Falcons, Jets, and the week after that, you're looking at Jaguars, Dolphins.
Oh,
I'm sorry, London. I'm sorry.
They're really piquing the interest over there. Oh yeah, we really want to see this every weekend. So this was a peak amongst more valleys to come for sure. But at least they're not gonna go. At least the Jets aren't gonna go winless. That's all I'll say there.
That's true. And you know what? They played them tough. You got to give some credit to the defense, man. Hey, they did. They did.
Derrick Henry still had over 124 yards rushing. He was still a man with children around him.
Even so, they still managed to squeak out the win.
They went to overtime. The team didn't even have their 2 best receivers, and they went to overtime.
That is more.
Layup.
It should have been a layup for the Titans. It should have been. Even without Julio Jones, even without A.J. Brown, They still had Mr. Henry. They still had King Henry.
The Titans,
Run the rock.
man.
Run the fucking rock. Run the rock.
I'm starting to sell them like crazy, man. I am done with the Titans. I mean, after
That defense, man. I thought Bud Dupree was going to be the answer. Their
he
defense
didn't
can't
play.
stop
He
a
was
fuck.
hurt. I
Yeah,
think he was hurt.
I know. They can't stop a fucking nosebleed. They can't. And then Randy Bullock. There's a reason why you get passed around the league, man. And I was texting back and forth with my girl too because we were watching it. I'm like, he's not automatic. He's not automatic. Just watch, and then boom, pushed it. Just like I called that one. Like if I put money on it, he would have made it.
So talk about some more success stories. Justin Herbert goes 2-0 versus the AFC West. He looked like a bright shining light in his game against the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football. Has Herbert surpassed Mahomes as the next big time quarterback?
Let's take a second here and just kind of slow the roll. Just a little bit. Justin Herbert still has only been in 19 career games, right? Him and send him to Canton. He's still 9-10 career as a starter. Okay, let's just relax. 5,500 yards, 67% completion, 40 career touchdowns. Impressive. They are impressive. Let's give him a little bit more time because at this point, Mahomes has played 50 career games. And even then, that's still not that many games to make an assessment. And in those 50 career games, 40-10. That's Mahomes' record. Pretty close in terms of completion percentage. Touchdowns, 128. Mahomes balls out. A lot of that has to do with the fact that he is in Andy Reid's system. So if you put Justin Herbert in Andy Reid's system, the numbers would be off the charts. But I need to see more of Justin Herbert. I like Justin Herbert. This is not designed to be hatred of Justin Herbert. This is like, I've only seen 19 games. I need to see more. The league will catch up to him as the league catches up to everybody. So let's just, maybe this is too rational, but take a breath, people.
I don't think he's past Mahomes yet, but he's getting there. He just looks like a pro, and he delivers darts all over the field. He runs a sophisticated offense, tall kid. I bet the Dolphins wish they had him over Tua. 3 touchdowns in the first half, no interceptions, no fumbles. This is like the worst nightmare because the Chiefs now have a lot of ground to make up, right? Because now the Chargers 3-1, Vegas 3-1, Broncos 3-1, Chiefs sitting there, I believe, at 2-2.
There's a little bit of fool's gold there, though. If you're looking at the Raiders and you're looking at the Broncos, there is a little bit of element of fool's gold there because the Raiders tried to a little bit because they beat some teams that had winning records last year. But if you look at the Broncos, it's the first real test they got, and they lost. So we just got to keep an eye on like how heavily we are rating these teams for sure.
Yeah, and then on the other side of the field, you got Derek Carr, he's leading the league in passing yards, and kind of fell apart in this game. I mean, they really never had a feel. They couldn't get their run game going, and they got Jacobs back, and he I don't know, he couldn't really get anything going. Ruggs drew a pass interference down the field, but they really couldn't get a connection with any receiver. So you got Derek Carr and Baker Mayfield are both looking for contract extensions. Who would you extend? How do you think this plays out?
I just can't get the quotes from Joey Bosa out of my mind. Just about Derek Carr. That
just being honest.
I know, and this is the thing. we used to get candid quotes, right? Before cliches ruled the day, and you don't want to give your opponent bulletin board material. But for Joey Bosa to be so honest of Derek Carr that he would just turtle up, and as soon as you hit him in the mouth, he's going to get shook. Right? That gives you a little bit of pause. Yes, he is leading the league in passing yards. Overall, I would still rather have Baker Mayfield for the simple fact that it breaks down to this. Baker Mayfield is 26. Derek Carr is going to be 30, and he's had an issue with his back. Yes, he may want an extension. Derek Carr may play to earn an extension, but give me a healthy guy who's entering his prime in Baker Mayfield. That guy's a stud. Like, he is more than he's proven. Like, I used to think Baker Mayfield was a clown, but he has won me over with his play. And I think that he has more than lived up to the goods. And if I could keep him, maybe extend him 4-5 years at a reasonable cost, I can build around him some more, get some more players, and all of a sudden, my joke of a franchise for 20 years, the Cleveland Browns, we are now a model of stability. Cleveland would be a model of stability. What world are we living in? But but Baker Mayfield, I would definitely go with Baker. Both are playing balls out right now, but the injury to his back, Carr's back, gives a pause.
Yeah, I think we know what Derek Carr is, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what Baker could be, but I know what Derek Carr is, and I think Baker leaves a lot out there. I was rewatching the game this past weekend. He missed Odell on a bunch of passes, and he made some foolish throws near the red zone. But I'm thinking he'll mature out of that. I think both guys are going to get extended because the Browns do not want to start over.
No.
And I can't see John Gruden really wanting to start over. I mean, here's a guy who had a chance to really join any franchise over the last 10 years. I mean, when Peyton came back, he had a chance to go to Denver. When, Josh McDaniels left at one point, he could have went to New England. Like, there were different times when he could have took quarterbacks, when they were coming out of the draft, and he chose not to. Andrew Luck was going to Indianapolis. He loved Andrew Luck. He didn't want to become the coach there. So I can't imagine that he's going to want to start over with Derek Carr. It's almost like he's married to him. So I think both guys get extended. The guy I'd rather extend, though, is Baker Mayfield, just because I know what Derek Carr is, and I don't know what Baker Mayfield could be.
That's true. I mean, Baker Mayfield's ceiling is definitely higher. And if you're just looking at Carr's numbers, right? He's 14 games under 500 for his career. Whoop-de-doo. Eli Manning is 500, exactly 500 for his career, but he's got the pelts on the wall. 178 career touchdowns, 74 career picks, 28,200 yards. Decent, not great, decent. And then Field, definitely, it's more on the come. Baker Mayfield already has over 12,000 yards. And he's only 3 games over 500 for his career, but he's also playing for the Browns. 77 touchdowns, 45 picks. Like, that gap needs to widen in order for Baker Mayfield to kind of ascend to that superstar status, like you said. Sometimes he plays a little loose with the football, a little reckless, but if he can grow out of it and, dare I say, become Josh Allen, I think that would be Cleveland would be more than happy with that performance. But to push you on the Derek Carr thing, if Aaron Rodgers works a back channel to John Gruden and says, I want to go to Vegas, you're casting Derek Carr to the side. aren't you? Even though he's 8 years younger than Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers. Excuse me.
You gotta think of it this way: like what Aaron Rodgers is about to do. You know, he's 3 years younger than Brady was when Brady did it. So you're gonna get at least 3 or 4 years out of him when he comes there. Now, from what I gather, Aaron Rodgers, he's gonna be a Packer next year. So John would have to trade a home to get him next year. But the year after that, he would be free to go wherever he wants. So it is a reason for a team like Cleveland, a team like Pittsburgh, a team like the Broncos, and a team like the Raiders to say, well, hold on, we're not going to extend anybody, we're not going to draft any quarterbacks, let's see how this plays out. Because Aaron Rodgers is going to play for someone other than the Green Bay Packers in 2 years.
Yeah, and if you're Derek Carr, if you're only given a year extension, if it's only like a 1 year wait and see approach, like how do you handle that? How are you talking to your agent about that? It's like, no, I want out of here. If they're not going to commit to me long term, like, do you push them? Do you push them to give you a long term offer?
I don't think there's a market for Derek Carr. I don't think people are like really want to have Derek Carr on their team. Maybe the Colts would, because they're in a situation where, you know, Wentz isn't really working out so well. But I don't know a team that's going to be like, oh yeah, we got to bring him in. Like maybe the Texans, maybe. Like I don't know.
I'm looking at Miami. I'm looking at Miami right now.
With the way Miami's going, they're going to have a top 5, top 10 pick again.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely. I mean they're trending down, but at the same time, I don't know.
I think Miami's kind of saying to themselves, "We're going to get Deshaun Watson after this whole thing blows over."
But here's the thing: are they? Because I read a report that Jeffrey Lurie okayed the front office to be aggressive in acquiring Deshaun Watson.
I saw that too. He better not, because Jalen Hurts is my fantasy quarterback. But, you can't help but smile when you see a balloon. The simplest occasion is a party. Westchester Pop Stars, located in New Rochelle, New York, offers balloon styling and decor for all life's events. Birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, showers, school and corporate events, store openings, or just because. Westchester Pop Stars takes balloons and shapes them into works of art, creating decorative installations for your special occasions. No event is too big or too small, and their custom personalization service is top-notch. Westchester Pop Stars is a private studio, quickly expanding. In-person consultation is by appointment only. Send an email to westchesterpopstars@gmail.com for more information or to schedule an appointment. No need to hire an event stylist. All you need is balloons. Currently servicing Westchester, Putnam, New York City, and Connecticut. To find Westchester Pop Stars, search for them on Instagram, Facebook, or Google. Well, moving on to other headlines. Urban Meyer came under fire the last couple of days because apparently after his team lost in Cincinnati, he did not fly back with the team down to Jacksonville. He decided to attend a bar restaurant area where a woman danced in his crotch region and took a picture. Thoughts, questions, comments, and concerns?
Oh, Urban. Oh, Coach Meyer. Not a good look for a man that preaches accountability and owning it. Well, he does own it. That was his bar and grill. So I'm sure he was drinking for free. But not a good look. Certainly not a good look. And while it is not the final nail in his coffin, it's definitely one of the final nails in his coffin. So if you believe what you hear, the scuttlebutt is the locker room is all but gone. So they're laughing at his apology. Shad Khan came out and said, you need to build the trust of the organization. You need to rebuild the trust of your players. It's only been 4 games, dude. It's only been 4 games. And you're not squeaky clean to begin with because you tried to hire Chris Doyle. Like, you You
So
tried
in your
to.
opinion, this is strike 2.
As far as I'm concerned, he's on an 0-2 count. He's on an 0-2. Now, this is the thing with Urban Meyer. We both know how savvy he is, right? That chest is going to start hurting. He's going to start missing his family. USC's going to come a-calling. But what disturbs me, though, is I'm looking at those pictures, and Urban Meyer looks fucking gone, dude. He looks... The lights are on, but nobody's home. How much did he have to drink? And I wonder if that is another exit strategy. Rehab. I'm an addict. We're just gonna, like, part ways. I'm gonna do what I need to get healthy and get better.
Yeah, I have more of a problem with him not flying back to Jacksonville with his team than I really do with him having a woman grinding in front of him taking her picture. I mean, sometimes you don't have control over those situations. A person says they want to take a picture with you. You're in a bar and restaurant setting. You don't know what they're going to do. They're capable of anything. And he doesn't realize that, he wasn't smart and didn't realize that there's cameras around. There's people taking pictures. So the one thing I will say is unfortunately, I do think he's lost his locker room. You can't preach accountability and then not fly back with your team after you got beat by the Bengals.
Nope.
You got to be on that flight, dude. You got to head. This isn't college. How many times did you do this in college? I don't know if the chest is going to start to hurt anytime soon, but he needs to win. He needs to win. I do think he cares. I think he does want to win there. He does want to prove his worth in the NFL because this will really, I think this will really shit on his legacy as a coach. So I think I agree with you. He's on an 0-2 count right now. And I think they're getting a little frustrated with him. But the problem is like if you're Jacksonville, who are you going to bring in?
Shotty! It's already there, man. The next head coach is right there. Brian Schottenheimer. Come on, baby. Come on.
Come on, baby. So that's the problem. It's like, who do you bring in? Who's gonna help Trevor Lawrence be a quarterback? Like that was the whole point of bringing him there, is because he could do that. So tough situation. But
let's think about that for a second. Like you're talking about developing quarterbacks. Urban Meyer's track record in college. Who was his best quarterback? Alex Smith?
Well, no. He coached Tim Tebow, didn't he?
He did, but I mean, if you're looking at Tim Tebow compared to an actual functional quarterback, like college Tim Tebow and pro Tim Tebow are two different guys. I would argue that Alex Smith was probably the best of the bunch, and that was 20 years ago,
Sounds
15
like
years ago.
For next week. I would go with Tim Tebow. I mean, I understand what happened in the pros, but he was mismanaged in the pros, and he did well when he did play. I mean, people didn't want to. We're going to talk about this actually in a segment later on, but people didn't want to coach him to his strengths. They wanted to run their system and run their scheme, and he really doesn't fit in like that. But
yeah. And as far as Ohio State quarterbacks, like Cardale Jones.
Cardale Jones, and he had Braxton Miller too, right? That was another one of
Yeah.
those guys.
Yeah.
Right.
He had JT Barrett. Like, nothing to write home about.
No,
He's all right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Looking to break into broadcast media, web development, social media marketing, or filmmaking? Then CSB is the program for you. From day one, you'll be trained hands-on by industry pros like friend of the show Rob Adams, whose goal is to get you trained and get you working in months, not years. CSB offers 8 and 16-week programs in small class sizes designed to give you the personalized attention you need. If you can make it in person, there are 5 East Coast locations. If you can't, they offer virtual classes too. How great is that? And once you graduate, you become part of the alumni network that gets you to the front of the line. Trust me, I'm an alum myself. Go to gocsb.com today, request more info, set up a studio tour, and who knows, you may very well be on your way to a career in broadcast media. That's gocsb.com and tell them Z sent you. gocsb.com.
The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award.
I don't know. Are you ready for one of our most favorite segments? The Alleged Superstar of the Week? Did you prepare for that?
I'm always ready for the Alleged Superstar of the Week because we have lots of alleged superstars to choose from. And guys, remember, we're only giving you some options. There's always the honorable mention that you can put on the Twitter poll. So once we're done here, that Twitter poll is going up. Twitter is Fade Route DNZ. Vote early, vote often, and you can name the Alleged Superstar of the Week. And are you ready? Do you know who last week's Alleged Superstar of the Week was, D?
No idea.
Devin Williams of the Milwaukee Brewers.
That was
your guy. He beat out your guy, Justin Fields, in a tiebreaker vote. It was so close that we had to have a tiebreaker vote because there can be only one. Like Highlander, there can be only one. So joining the illustrious Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan is Devin Williams of the Milwaukee Brewers. And who will it be this week? Who are your nominees, D?
All right, so my first nominee is Matt Nagy. Fired himself as offensive coordinator, let the laser call the plays, and then tried to take all the credit. Matt Nagy, you are a special, alleged superstar. Number 2, Garrett Cole. 2 innings, 3 runs, 3 strikeouts, 4 hits, and over $300 million. Garrett Cole, you are one of my alleged superstars of the week. And last, but certainly not least, Urban Meyer doesn't fly home with his team, gets a photo taken at a bar restaurant with a random woman dancing in his lap after a team loss. Urban Meyer, you are my alleged superstar of the week.
I think that those are all very good options. I'm just going to throw a few more. Although I think I have a pretty good idea who's going to win this week based on the performances. But Ben Roethlisberger, 26-40, touchdown and a pick. Mediocre once again. Good job, Ben. Solidly mediocre. Solid. Matthew Stafford, 26-41, 2 touchdowns and a pick. The vaunted Rams offense goes down and goes down hard to the Cardinals. Dalvin Cook. Mr. Cook was not cooking in the kitchen this week. 9 carries for only 34 yards. Kirk Cousins, 20-38, 203 yards. 203. Daniel Jones got 402. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we could do that too. A touchdown and a pick. Last but not least, Stephon Gilmore getting traded to the Panthers for only a 6th-round pick. Mr. Former Defensive Player of the Year, former stud cornerback. If you're that good, you probably should go higher than a 6th. You should be able to fetch more than a 6th-round pick. Those are ours.
A 2023 6th-round pick, not even next year's draft.
So, how the mighty have fallen, Mr. Gilmore. So those are our picks. Check out the poll. Vote early. Vote often. Do better, boys and girls. Do better.
Avoid messy accidents. Get better stopping power with your brake pads. Callahan brake pads. You never know when you'll be driving in the road and there will be a truck tire that you need to avoid and save your family. Callahan Auto. We really care about what's under your hood.
Time to go inside the huddle.
All right, we're introducing a new segment this week. It's called Inside the Huddle, where we're going to debate a topic. We're going to get up on our soapbox, talk a little bit, and we'd love to hear what you have to say about it. So the topic this week is, are offensive and defensive coordinators becoming obsolete? This question comes up because there are just no good coordinators out there anymore. Sure, you have your Gus Bradleys, your Vance Josephs, your Josh McDaniels, and your Joe Lombardis, but outside of a handful of guys, most coordinators have schemes that can only be executed by certain talent and certain players. Matt LaFleur was one of the OCs in LA and has had success with the Packers, but they have Aaron Rodgers. They have Adam Jones. They got Devontae Adams. Vic Fangio was a good D coordinator in Chicago with Khalil Mack and company, but that success is not really translated to the Broncos. Can coordinators really put their imprint on teams? Defense requires discipline, but players today, they don't want to hear any of this crap. They don't want to be disciplined. They don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to be yelled and screamed at. Offense requires less discipline. Well, offense requires discipline too, but offense can make up for their lack of discipline with skill, where defensive can't. So, what say you on the offense and defensive coordinators becoming obsolete in the NFL today?
Well, besides the fact that your head coaches now are starting to kind of take the reins, like the Matt Nagy's of the world. They have to have plays physically removed from their hands with the jaws of life because they cannot differentiate themselves. Like, perfect example, Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan, great defensive coordinator. Moved to the head coaching position, still was the defensive coordinator. You need to be able to delegate. As a head coach, you're the CEO. This is why John Harbaugh is so effective, because he can effectively delegate to his lieutenants. That is what works for him. Now, the way the coaching structures and org charts are constructed, that becomes problematic because you're not looking at one central coordinator. Now you're doing passing game coordinator and running game coordinator and defensive back coach and linebackers. And while it is important to have a differentiated skill position coach to teach these guys how to run the offense, to run the defense, to coach them up, you do need some semblance of leadership at the top. And it gets a little bit too alphabet soupy. It's becoming obsolete because you're diluting your coaching staff with more and more people. So if I'm the head coach, if I'm Matt Nagy, like, I have to consult Laser. Well, I should consult Laser. He's got to fire the laser. He's got to deploy the laser. I mean, come on. Like, laser's the key to victory. You got to fire the laser. But you have to consult Laser. You have to consult the passing game coordinator. You have to consult the running game coordinator. And then you four then have to – that's too many cooks in the kitchen. It's becoming passé to have one centralized voice, but at the same time, you need to have a streamlined approach to this to where it becomes a fluid offense or a fluid defense. There needs to be some accountability. There needs to be some person that is going to be the point and for it, and the head coach cannot be the offensive guru. But you're going to need to take that step away. But there's just too many things going on right now. So I think it's something that should continue, and you should have more emphasis, more so than breaking it down to such minute details and quality control coaches and all of these things. Just leave it to one guy and figure it out.
But do you think players are going to allow for that special kind of coaching? Because really, it requires discipline and respect. I mean, we see two coaches in the NFL right now, in Urban Meyer and Matt Nagy. I don't think their locker room respects them. I mean, I don't know what's going on in Jacksonville, but I'm sure Trevor Lawrence by this time is looking at Brian Schottenheimer and be like, what did he just tell me to do? Where's he want me to throw the ball? Chenault?
We're 0 what? Why am I going to listen to you? I'm going to text Dabo. Like, Dabo's going to text me the plays. But, yeah, that's a little bit different in terms of creating the culture. Like, the head coach definitely speaks to something greater, team culture, things like that. If you go all the way back to Tom Coughlin, right? Tom Coughlin almost lost his locker room. He needed to have a little bit of olive branch with the veterans. And from what I understand, Urban Meyer at least tried that or paid lip service to it. But ultimately, you do need to get buy-in from your players. And I don't know if having 87 coaches on your coaching staff is the way to do it. I'm not sure. I mean, because then you have, Joe Blow, who's the specific quality control coach for your position, saying one thing, and then you have the offensive coordinator saying something else, and then you have the head coach saying something else, and it's too many mixed messages, and you can definitely lose the room with too much noise. Also, you need to trust people's. They want to move up the ladder. That's how Adam Gase rose to prominence. That's how Adam Gase rose to power. Is that what we want to do? Is that what we really want to talk about again? But I think the Urban Meyer Matt Nagy thing. Matt Nagy's just incompetent. Like, he got a job. He never called plays. I don't understand how he got the job.
This is the guy who said that the starting quarterback will be a game time decision on Sunday. I mean, how do you walk into the quarterback room after saying something like that? Like, how does Andy Dalton just look down at the floor and be like, oh my gosh, I played for Cincinnati, but this is far worse. Far worse.
Honest to God, I don't know. But the only way is some puncturing lungs over there, like the Chargers last year.
Nick Foles is like, get me out of here. I will play for anyone right now.
Send me back to Jackson. We'll go do that in a heartbeat. Like, I will go back up Zach Wilson. Like, I don't care. Like, just please. But offensive and defensive coordinators are becoming passe because head coaches usurp all the power of that position and just trying to minimize it, and then everybody else is diluted underneath it. If you keep to a proper org chart and power structure, I think that kind of solves a lot of these problems because you'll have a uniformity of voice. Be like, guys would be a little bit more willing to accept that coaching because then you wouldn't have an Urban Meyer type situation where he's telling you to do one thing and then he's doing whatever the hell. So I think it's gone a little crazy and it definitely needs to be streamlined a little bit more.
Need a little inspiration in the kitchen? Want to try something new? Or maybe you just need a new YouTube cooking show to binge? Well, I have the answer for all three. As You Eat It, hosted by me, Z. I invite you into my home and show you methods designed to empower and inspire you in the kitchen. Cook how you want to cook, eat how you want to eat. Eat as you eat it. That's As You Eat It, available only on YouTube. AZ, You Eat It. Check it out and let's get cooking. Let's run the option and give you our picks for the week.
It is now time for the option for week 5. Can you believe we have already?
Yeah, I can.
You can? It feels every bit.
I can, and I can't wait for it. Actually, I'm really excited.
Nice.
It's been a good season so far.
It's so far.
I went 10-6, so I'm still staying above 500.
Yep, same. I was at 10-6. Rams did me in, and the Niners did me in. So the NFC West really messed me up this past week. But we got a new week, a new slate of games, and we're starting Thursday with the NFC West, ironically. The Rams at the Seahawks. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams. I think it'll be a tough game, but the Rams have a nice schedule the rest of the way, so I'm definitely keeping them as my fantasy football team defense, my starting defense on my fantasy football team.
I don't blame you. This is tough for me, especially coming off of last week. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. Home field advantage. Short week. Think they'll pull it off. Sunday
morning.
That's right. London back, baby. London is back. Jets at Falcons. Who you got?
I'm gonna surprise you. I'm taking the Jets. Jets. They can't win on their home turf, but they could sure as hell win in Europe. So I'm gonna have them topping the Falcons.
It's not a surprise if we both pick them. So there we go. I'm taking the Jets too. That defense plays, man. That defense, they're trying hard. Say what you will, and I know you do. But I think you do, and often. But they showed me something, and the Falcons haven't showed me enough. Sunday, 1 p.m. slate. Lions at Vikings.
Oh, the Lions still go winless. I got the Vikings.
I thought you were going to take the Lions again. I was going to be like, no, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Didn't you learn from last week? I certainly learned from last week. Damn it, man. Come on. We threw Detroit a bone, and this is what happened. Vikings are going to take this one. Dalvin Cook's going to run all over them. Easy peasy. Saints at all team.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a good game, but I have to go with the Saints. I'm not really on the Taylor Heineke bandwagon here.
Well, I think that the offense is playing. The offense is doing as well as it can do with Taylor Heineke under center. The defense is a little overrated. Like the Montez Sweats and the Chase Youngs, what we thought was going to carry them, it's a little overrated. Definitely a little overrated. I'm going to take the Saints as well. Pats at Texans.
Oh, the Patriots better win this game. I'm taking the Patriots.
Bill Belichick against Davis Mills. Need I say more? Pats win big. The Battle of Florida. Dolphins at Bucks.
This seems like a perfect trap game, right? Gonna go with the Bucks, even though Tom does not play well in Miami.
I'm gonna take the Bucks too. Fournette's gonna have a day, and Brady's gonna connect for a couple touchdowns with Antonio Brown.
Dolphins are
Bucks
lost
big.
right now.
Yeah, Dolphins are swirling. Dolphins are definitely swirling, and I don't think Tua coming back is going to help them at all. Packers at
Packers. I think it's a close one.
This is tough. At the beginning of the year when we were doing our picks for our division, if you could tell me that the Bengals were going to be 3-1, I would have told you you're full of shit. So, that being said, Aaron Rodgers lights up the sky. And the Packers are going to trounce the Bengals. Broncos at Steelers.
I'm taking the Steelers mainly because the Broncos are really banged up. Teddy Bridgewater might not be able to play. Melvin Gordon's hurt. So, I'm taking the Steelers.
I'm going to go with the Broncos, riding the defense a little bit. Drew Lock, you just got to do just enough not to lose. Eagles at Panthers.
Eagles at the Panthers. Going with the Panthers.
This is a pretty easy one. The Eagles are trash. The Panthers are not. Like plain and simple. Sam Darnold, unleash the beast, man. Good for you.
Sam Darnold is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's top 6 in passing yards this year.
Trivia question for you. Who leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns?
Gee, I don't even know.
Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. Yes.
Awesome.
So what you needed to do was get rid of Adam Gase, and this all would have gone. This would have solved itself. That's all I'm saying. Titans at Jags.
Jags get their first win, and Urban Meyer lap dance afterwards. Jaguars
Upset
win.
alert. Upset
awful.
alert.
Titans are awful.
Titans are awful, but they're better than the Jaguars. So I'm gonna roll with the Titans, and Henry
Lap
has
dances
it.
for everybody.
Lap dances for everybody, and Waffle House afterwards. 4:05. We are in afternoon slate, boys and girls. Browns at Chargers. This is a big one.
Chargers. Another close game and a good game.
And just a little bit of breaking news. Justin Turner just went yard to tie the game 1-1 in the bottom of the fourth inning. I'm going to go with the Browns, but in a close one. I'm thinking 3 points, but this is going to be the game of the week. Bears at Raiders.
The Raiders get back on track. Just think it's a little too early for Mr. Fields.
Over under 1 net yard.
Over.
More yards than sacks.
Well, who's calling the plays? Is it Bill Lazor? Bill Lazor's calling the plays. Over.
Over under, he fires the laser. Oh, God. The Raiders have to have this one. They can't lose to the Bears. They can't. The Raiders have to have this one. Niners at Cardinals.
Cards. Jimmy G's hurt. He's probably going to try and play and get hurt again. Cards.
The Trey Lance era begins this week, but that doesn't mean anything because the Cardinals are rolling right now. Unstoppable. The last unbeaten team in the NFL. If you had the Cardinals, don't lie to me. Giants at Cowboys.
Giants, man. I think they go into Jerry's World and win. They always do. Pick up Daniel Jones on your fantasy team this week, boys and girls. He's number 7 in the league in passing.
Oh, my. Okay. Well, for me, Saquon Barkley finally showed up. The real Saquon Barkley showed up last week. So that's something to be said. Ezekiel Elliott's hurt. He may not play, but they still have Tony Pollard, and that plays pretty well. I'm going to take the Cowboys. My heart is with the Giants. My head is with the Cowboys. And I'm hoping this is a little bit of Maloika. Hopefully I'm putting that kiss of death right on the Blue Star. Your Sunday night special, Bills at Chiefs.
Bills. I have the Bills winning. I mean, they almost beat them last time there, so Bills.
Bills are pitching shutouts, man. Like that defense is rolling. I think it's 118-21 in the last 3 games. Yeah. So it's going to be closer just because, you're not facing sorry-ass teams. You're facing the Chiefs. But I like the Bills here, too. I think that it's going to be a shootout, and the Bills out on top.
I got a lot of players in that game, too. I got Zach Moss. I got Tyreek Hill. I got Travis Kelce. Let's go.
Who's a bigger winner than you? Who's a bigger winner than you in that scenario? And Monday night. Colts at Ravens. This is a huge disappointment game. It's based on what the Colts were supposed to be.
Ravens, that defense is playing well despite all the injuries. And I think it's a close game, though, because the Colts do play defense.
Colts do play defense, but Jacob Eason is finishing that game. I'm just saying. I'm taking the Ravens, and it's not close.
All right. This has been the Fade Route with D and Z. Thanks for tuning in tonight. You can catch our podcast Wednesday nights on Anchor, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Until next time, stay faded, everyone.
We'll talk to you next week. If you want to get on the action, we want to hear from you. Hit us up at Fade Route Podcast on IG, faderoutemail@gmail.com, or slide in our DMs at Twitter at FadeRouteDNZ. Questions, comments, picks, segment suggestions, you name it. We want to hear from you. Get at us, in crowd. Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, turn on subscription notifications, and tell your friends. Spread the word, spread it wide.